Hello, stat students, and welcome to your in-class activity or your practice problems for week 2. Each week, you'll have a number of practice problems and videos that correspond with some of the problems that you have there in the worksheet that you can download off of Canvas. And I'm going to help work you through some of these problems. So for this week, make sure you've downloaded the week 2 ICA, which is our practice problems file, and go ahead and tab over to ICA 1-3 DOW, and we're going to work on 6 functions that are already embedded in Excel that we can use: mean, median, mode, minimum, maximum, and range. And then a last one, we're going to look at what is called descriptive statistics. So let's begin and look at our problem. This sheet contains data for the monthly returns of the Dow from 2006 back through to 1928. Using the appropriate Excel functions, calculate the mean, median, mode, minimum, maximum, and range for the data. Format them as a percentage showing 2 decimals. And then the second part is show the descriptive statistics for the data. And we're going to format the mean, median, mode, minimum, maximum, and range as percentages with 2 decimals and color the cells yellow. Do they match our function calculation? So we will need to compare them to see if either way works fine. So to find our mean, median, mode, minimum, maximum, and range, we are going to run a couple of Excel problems. So I'm going to set my cursor in cell F12 because that's where I want my mean result of the function to be placed. Now there are a couple of different ways, as you found out last week doing your Excel practice. There are a couple different ways to run Excel functions for your spreadsheet. You can either begin by typing in the function, starting with the equal sign, and then finding the function and going that way. Or the other way is, if you are prefer kind of a step-by-step approach, you can click on your function key, which is up here, your insert function, and you can find it that way. So we are looking for the mean function. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we want to search for the function. It's actually the average function that we are going to be using. Mean is the same thing as average. So once Excel finds the function, we can select average, click OK, and then it gives us this function arguments box, which it says, okay, tell us what numbers you want me to find the average of. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a range, as we see here already. It says C12 to E12, but that's not the range we want. We want the range from C11 all the way down to the bottom, which is, I believe, C945. So to do that, I'm going to click on C11. As you can see, it is put in the arguments box there. I am going to scroll down on the far right all the way to the last entry down in C945. I'm going to hold down my Shift button and click the last, click that last cell. And if you'll notice the arguments, it says C11 colon C945. Well, that is what we want. So we click OK, and we find that our average, our mean for those monthly returns is negative 0.26. We can do the same for the median. Click in the median cell of F13 where we want our answer. Click on my insert function button. I click on median, or I type in median, click go, and it finds the median function for me. I click OK. I'm going to do the same thing. I want the data. I want to find the median of the data in cell C11 all the way down to C945. Click on the first one in C11, hold down my Shift key, click on the last one. It highlights all of the data, and then I can click OK. That gives us a median of negative 0.86. Now, the other way we can do this is we can just type in the function that we want. So I know the mode function is mode. So I'm going to type in MODE, and notice it gives us a couple different ones. The one we want down here is mode. So I'm going to click on mode, double click on that. And then it says, okay, give me all your numbers that you want. The same thing, I want all the data from C11 to C945. So I'm going to click on C11. I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom, hold down my Shift key, click on C945. But here, the last thing I have to remember to do is add an end parentheses, if you'll notice up here. Once I type that parenthesis, I can hit return, and that gives us a hashtag or a pound NA, which means there is no mode for this data. So we continue. We're going to find minimum. I'm going to expand this column a little bit, give me a little bit more space. Minimum, I know the function for minimum is min. I'm going to type in my parentheses, and then I want my data. I'm going to click on the first one in C11, scroll down, hold down my shift key, click on the last cell with the data, close my parentheses, and hit enter. And that gives me a minimum of negative 26.34. I'm going to find my maximum. I know the function for maximum is max. Click on my first one after I type in equals max, parentheses, C11, scroll all the way down, shift key, click on the last one, and then up here, notice again, close my parentheses and hit enter. The last function that we are going to do for this is my range. Now, there is no function that we use for range, but the range is just simply the difference between the largest and the smallest of the data set. So all I'm going to do is take my maximum, I'm going to type in equal, and I'm going to click on the cell that has my maximum number of 44.30%. I'm going to subtract, and then I'm going to click on this second cell, F15, that has my minimum of negative 26.34%. So my range goes from 44.3% to negative 26.34%. So that gives us a range of about 70.5%. Now, the last thing in Part B, this asks us to show the descriptive statistics for the data, and that is found in a different place. Now, you should have already set up your data tool set. If you haven't done that, make sure you look at the instructions on Canvas on how to do that. But our descriptive statistics is found under the Data tab and Data Analysis. Again, if you don't have this Data Analysis tool button here, you need to go back to Canvas and follow the instructions in adding the Data Analysis tool pack. We'll click on Data Analysis. We want to scroll and find Descriptive Statistics, which is right there. Once we hit that, we click on OK. Now it's asking us for the input range. And now for this one, I'm going to include the label of monthly return. And I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to click on C10 all the way down to C945. Now, since I clicked on that monthly returns label all the way at the top of the column, I'm going to click this button that says labels in the first row. So it's going to label that the output for me when it gives it to me in Excel. The last thing I need to do is I need to tell it where to put my results for my descriptive statistics. I'm going to click on the output range. I'm going to click in the box for output range, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right here in H12. And when I finish with that, I can click on OK. Oops, I forgot. I needed to include summary statistics. Check the summary statistics box in the bottom, then click OK, and that gives us our monthly return data. So what we are looking for is to see, is the mean, median, mode, min, max, and range all the same? And if we look at this, we have rounded only to 2 decimal places, so we need to convert these to decimals by clicking on home and percentage. I can click the percentage button, and then 2 decimal, I'm going to click on increase decimal there. Do that for all of them. Median, I'm going to make it a percentage with 2 decimals. Minimum and maximum, I'm going to show as a percentage with 2 decimal places. And my range, I can do the same thing, percentage with 2 decimal places. And if I look, yes, they are the same. Mean, median, mode, range, minimum, and maximum. And we are all done.